Humans have been content to study the physical body for thousands of years. Despite the many benefits gained from these studies, things have only gotten more complicated for the human being because he has been looking to the outside only instead of the inside. He has looked at the cover instead of the content, and his knowledge has been limited to the body that we now reside in. And so, questions have only increased, and the mysterious secrets that should answer these questions have only gotten more complicated. Who are you, human? With respect to your body, you are no more than a shell that houses the soul. So why do you persist on looking to the outside? The outside will not answer all the real and fundamental questions that always accompany you. Launch yourself to within in order to get to know yourself, and you will never get to know yourself unless you search within. Let us sail inwards together. The human being consists of body, self, and soul. The body is the shell and cover which was formed to accommodate this soul. It was meant to be a physical tool to make it easier for the soul to deal with the physical world while testing its awareness in it by utilizing a body made up of the same material. The soul, it is that pleasant radiant being that was instilled within that body. It is infinitely transparent. The self, it is the midland between the body and the soul, between the solid physical and infinitely transparent soul. When you stand before the sea, what do you see before you? You see an area that is neither solid ground nor the sea. You see the beach, which is an area that consists of both states together. It is a small area in comparison to either the ground or the sea. That is the self. It occurs between the body and the soul. In other words, it is the byproduct of fusing the soul with the body, and its purpose is to be an area that is not an absolute solid, in order to help you deal and adapt with the transparent spiritual world. Have you ever seen a plane taking off? There is a special area of land designed and adapted for the plane to drive through before taking off, in order to give it time to gather enough speed so that it could fly off and also land safely. If it were not for airports, the process of safe takeoff would have been impossible for the planes. There must always be a transition point between the physical and the spiritual worlds, and that is the self. But we are not here to speak of the self. The question now is, what are the inner subconscious bodies? The inner bodies are your awareness systems that make up the soul. The soul consists of 6 inner bodies, starting from the 7th and ending with the 2nd ethereal body, and then comes the physical body. Each one of those bodies differs from its predecessor in its transparency. The most transparent is the 7th, and the least transparent is the 2nd body. The subconscious bodies and their functions. The ethereal body, it is the first spiritual body after the physical body. It consists of a body of ethereal energy that surrounds our physical body and infuses it from the inside and the outside. Within it, the chakras are planted and distributed in the human body. The chakras are turbines of energy that get prana, or life energy, to enter our bodies in addition to expelling negative energy and working on an energy filter. The ethereal body is responsible for our communication with those around us, the way in which we communicate, the intentions we carry while doing so, and our state of health. It is the first subconscious body that links us to the spiritual world, and it is responsible for all the positive and negative energy released by us due to our interactions with everything around us and our dealings with all people and events. This body's health is extremely important in order to be able to successfully carry on with our journey of awareness and spiritual completion. The astral body, it is the body responsible for spiritual connection and spiritual travel across worlds. Through this body, astral projection, launching the spirit outside the body and returning And visual travel occurs through visual inspection of spatial and temporal things around us. For through it we are able to see through insight what is beyond the physical sense and launch to places and visit them without the need to move physically. Also, it is possible to move through temporal events, such as go back to an event that occurred in the past, or launch to an event in the future, but the latter needs the full force of all the bodies together. The astral body is responsible for all the feeling brewing within us, for it is the center of feelings and sentimental connection. The mind body. It is the body responsible for the completion of our minds, and I don't mean the brain, for the brain is one thing and the mind is another. The brain is the place where ideas are stored and analysis for all neurological processes occurs, but the mind, on the other hand, is one of the subconscious bodies. The mind generates ideas and connects with the rest of the subconscious bodies, for it is the preparation point, as a beach, between the lower physical bodies, the ethereal and astral bodies, and the upper bodies, the wisdom, willpower, and enlightened bodies. And its function is to find that allows us to adapt our awareness to all the variable around us. It is also connected to the heart chakra, which in turn feeds the brain through the energy pathways and conveys what the mind wants the brain to do. The wisdom body. It is the first of the upper subconscious bodies, and upon reaching it, the human being would have completed the phase of connecting and adapting to everything and everyone around him, would have achieved inner peace and contentment by the well use of his feelings, as well as crossing the barrier of the mind by knowing how to deal with all its tricks and labyrinths. When the person reaches the fifth body, he gains from it the ability to deal with issues within the right and aware perspective, and becomes wise at evaluating issues. Having great experience has granted him excellent perspective of issues well beyond the materialistic, which has aided him in his launch to the spiritual, infinite world. This body is responsible for insight and becoming a witness over everything around you without interfering, to look at issue from the perspective of someone who realizes the creational hierarchy and the cycle of life. This body allows you to become a meditative witness, enjoying everything that occurs around you. The willpower body. It is responsible for the willpower of the human that allows him to reach his destiny, to return to the point from whence his soul was first created. It is responsible for stimulating him to question the reasons behind existence and the secrets and inner workings of your inner self. This body qualifies you to gain access to the reasons behind existence and the story of creation. It allows you to reach, using your awareness, to that which is beyond the veil. The enlightenment body. It is the most transparent and radiant of the bodies, for it is a complete enlightened body in the nature of its creation and awareness. This body is the true you. This body represents the upper self, and what you have strived to reach through awareness and consciousness, for it is responsible for the blossoming of your residing conscious cells and your connection with all the worlds around you and the kingdom of heaven. It is responsible for returning you to the truth behind the purpose of your existence. And now, after we have gotten acquainted with the subconscious bodies, which represent the layers of your spiritual awareness, we will begin to learn more and more about these bodies, and we will learn how to advance and strengthen them, each on its own. So stay tuned to the next episode in the Building Your Spiritual Bodies series.